for it, right? But will I digress, I guess. Go ahead with our introductions.
Spawning up in the top right-hand position, we have got the blue Zerg player. It is none other than Dimaga. And his opponent up to the top left, the pink Zerg representing Vega Squadron, it's DaNa.
So we will have to keep an eye, it seems, on whether or not that 10 pool does come out. I don't think it will from either of these players, but it would just be kind of cool to see.
What I'm excited to see is if either of them decides to go aggressive, because ZvZ is definitely a matchup where you can just throw out a lot of aggression very quickly. I'm still thinking back to probably one of the key moments in the last game was the scout from DaNa. DaNa was originally planning to go for a very quick roach speed upgrade, but upon scouting that his opponent was going Mutalisks, he decided against that and instead switched to Mutas of his own. That's quite a risk, because you're always going to be behind if you're adapting to that playstyle.
Yeah, I agree. It was a really interesting choice because it wasn't like it was a huge map either. You know what I mean? It was, maybe that Roach Warren gets done and he can still pressure before those mutas come out. And he can do enough damage to not necessarily kill Dimaga, but make those mutas a little bit weaker or something along those lines. Because mutas don't reign supreme forever in this matchup, quite like you might intuitively think they do against a Roach opener or Roach early mid-game. So, either way, I completely agree. I think that was absolutely one of the kind of pivotal points in that game.
The other thing as well to note is that it's gone are the days where Muta on Muta is the only option. If your opponent goes Mutalisks, Spore Coolers are a great response. You can go up into Hydras very easily. There's options around it. So whatever, it was something that happened. It's been and gone, and only DaNa really can justify whether he still thinks it was the right response. This game though, a bit different.
Yeah, both players kind of getting themselves, as we talk about, kind of situated, slightly different openers, the hatch first coming out versus the 15 pool, but as we've talked about, kind of the longer the game goes along, the less those minor advantages kind of matter if both players do go towards that more economic kind of style. So the gas being finished up for, both of them, and away they go mining it here. But what advantages do you think in Zerg versus Zerg, because obviously it is a mirror, so you would think the advantages are the same, but on this map specifically, Habitation Station, what do you look to accomplish as a Zerg player as far as advantages gained?
Probably the biggest thing is going to be the same as most maps, and that's whether you can secure up your third and hold it. Generally, that's the focal point of the early mid-game of ZvZ. If you can take out your opponent's third and secure yours, you pretty much win 9 out of 10 games. But it's not so easy to go. Just addressing a quick question, by the way, in Twitch chat while this is going on. Why you get +1 carapace on mutas and not attack? You do that in muta on muta because the carapace upgrade reduces the damage of bouncing glaives more than the attack upgrade increases the damage of the bouncing glaives. And that's really why on muta.
There it is. TIL.
So, Baneling nests on both sides, gases on both sides are still being taken. So this is still too early to tell. Positioning of these Baneling nests is actually very similar. Dimaga going in the main, DaNa going in the natural.
Yeah, so I think we're just kind of seeing preferences here, because this seems to be, DaNa's standard ZvZ opener. It's just kind of, this is how I'm going to get into what I want to do. And last time it was go for a Roach speed push, and this time, well, we'll have to see. Again, the very early layer comes out from Dimaga. On the back end here for DaNa is an Evolution Chamber.
So the Evo is a very, very interesting call, especially quite early on. It could very well be for the Carapace upgrade if he's got some kind of fun plan in order to go for a lot of Lings and Roaches early on. Alternatively, he could go for the +1 attack and hope to go for a very fast +1 missile attack upgrade and Roaches. But without the lair starting yet, it's going to be no easy tell. It's just 2 gases for now, so no big giveaways.
He gets a really good scout off, though, with his Lings here, does DaNa. He gets all the way in. He sees all of the gases taken, as we talked about in the last game, almost identically here for him. But this time, I think it reinforces what he wants to do. I think he hoped that this is what Dimaga was doing. This is a build, well, the heavy Mutalisk play, which is what it seems like he's going into again as the Spire does come down as the layer finishes. There's this awkward kind of moment here where that Spire takes 100 seconds to build, and he's going to try to flood, it seems, Speedlings, +1 Speedlings, but, well, is he going to hit that window and take a third behind it, which is really what he's looking to accomplish.
With the Banelings now morphing in aggressively, 5 of them on their way, add in more Speedlings coming across. This +1 carapace is great in Zergling Baneling fights, because it means it takes 2 Banelings to kill your Lings. But it's not going to be done for ages. 2 Spines coming up at the front. DaNa going to be going for this. If Dimaga holds, he's in a great position.
Yeah, these Banelings trying to get into the mineral line here. It doesn't look like the damage is being done just yet here for DaNa that he needs. Behind this, well, the Roach Warren and a layer coming down. The layer, I'm sure we'll see a Hydra Den relatively soon as well, and Spore Crawlers to follow in the mineral lines here. He has taken a third, though, which is more than we can say for Dimaga.
That third base is always going to be so important, because if you're able to get it up, it boosts your production as well as your income. But Dimaga, he doesn't care about that too much. He wants Mutalisks, and he wants them now. Hydra Den is not done. There's no Spore Crawlers yet for DaNa either. So defending this third base is going to be quite tough for him.
Yeah, and the Hydras will be out relatively soon here. Hydra Den only takes 40 seconds to build to the 100 of the Spire. So obviously that's the choice that a lot of Zerg players will go when forced to defend against Mutalisks, just because of how much faster you can react to it. And, well, there are some Roaches coming out. It looks like he's going to try to possibly pressure across the map to keep the Mutas at home or to delay them. But either way, he's got a lot of Spore Crawlers kind of coming down here. And I wonder if I think he should be relatively safe.
Waiting to see if and when Dimaga decides to go for this. He's got a fair few Banelings already here. In come the Mutas. But of course, with the Queens, it's going to be tough. He snipes off a Baneling with one of those Mutalisks. That means his
lost
Lings...
a Muta, though.
It's going to be interesting to see how this goes. The Banelings are actually running straight towards the natural base, hoping that's exposed. And there's only one Spine. This could do a lot of damage, but 2 Banelings coming in now for DaNa. Does the detonation get good? No! No, it doesn't.
Wow. 3 drones killed. That was... He just kind of hit the X button there, which is explode on your Banelings, rather than continue to patiently micro them, which is a little bit uncharacteristic of Dimaga. He is really, you know, at his core, a very patient player. And to see him kind of get a little over-eager there, I think he smelled victory. And he, well, now he's got to really play.
Dimaga is definitely on the back foot, as things stand now, because... he's down a base. Admittedly, he's taken the gold base now, so can start catching up there. But his composition just isn't as strong. Roach Hydra is better than a Mutalisk-based composition the longer the game goes on, because the Hydra count will be enough just to go and stomp, basically.
Yeah, and I think he's even looking to go Roach Baneling here. And to Dimaga's credit, he is mining from the gold base. So despite the fact that he's down 9 workers and, well, a little bit behind because of his attack didn't work, the income is almost identical. He even has a slight mineral advantage here.
It's going to be very interesting to see how this goes exactly. I'm keeping a close eye on what DaNa is doing, because DaNa's vision on this map is incredibly limited. Yeah. He doesn't really know what Dimaga's doing, and that's always a scary thing. If you look at the minimap while I've got DaNa's vision selected, he just can't see anything. And that's a scary, scary minimap.
Yeah, and conversely, Dimaga can see quite a lot here. I mean, he's patrolling with his Mutas. He's got his third base towards his opponent. He's got Overlords spread towards the bottom half of the map. He's really, as far as vision is concerned, I think in a far better position.
If vision is truly power, or knowledge is truly power, this is Bruce Wayne versus the Hulk at the moment in this game. And Dimaga, he's got all the control. But the thing for DaNa is, while he doesn't see too much, his composition is kind of a catch-all. He knows that Roach Hydra isn't really countered, apart from the only thing that will flat out win is Ultralisks. But yeah, Dimaga doesn't have Ultralisks at 13 minutes.
It's going to be interesting to see, though, because Dimaga does have quite a few more Roaches right now. He's up 24 to well, 26 to 41 at the moment. And although there are 8 Hydras, how much does that really affect it? You know, I mean, it may not be enough to counteract that Roach advantage. And with all these Zerglings coming in, I really think it seems time for Dimaga to go for that speed Baneling Roach timing attack into this Roach Hydra.
If he gets the Banelings and they get good connections, it's going to really hurt. Especially if the Hydras are the people or the units that actually stop the Banelings as opposed to the Roaches. But even if the Roaches soak up the damage, it reduces their health significantly and may give Dimaga the chance to push through. DaNa is leveling up the supply. How do you reckon this is going to go, Liaison?
It's I honestly couldn't tell you. I actually really like the angles Dimaga is setting himself up to engage through. 2 fronts here. He's going to come in. The Mutas are going to help him as well, continuing to deny creep. And in come these armies from 2 fronts here. The Banelings come on in. They get a lot of these Hydras. Transfuses actually go down on the Hydras. Push back on the left side is Dimaga. He pushes in on the right side and now gets the nice engagement on the left side as well. Does he have enough here? Both players are fully reinforcing here. 1-1 has finished for DaNa. He's waiting on 2-2 plus 2 carapace, just now finishing. He pushes in. He has the supply advantage here. Trying to focus down the Hydras is Dimaga, but at the end of the day, down in upgrades, down in army supply, down in harvesters. Not a great trifecta to be a part of if you're Dimaga.
Of course, DaNa can now just push against this. And really, the upgrades, the unit supply, it's all falling in DaNa's favor. He countered those Mutalisks very, very well. GG is called, and DaNa levels out this game in order to take it to 1-1, which means we get the ace match.